I came home after the longest day of my life, hoping for nothing more than to collapse on the sofa, bury myself in a blanket, and forget the world existed for at least 7 hours. Instead, when I pushed open the door,
Oh, you
a soft
luxurious
blue
beast,
glow
let's
filled the
dance.
room, gentle,
Feel the rhythm, my
almost
tufted
soothing,
friend.
like someone had installed mood lighting without asking. I blinked, then blinked again, because lying on my sofa, stretched out like a queen in a palace she definitely did not own, was a woman. Not a human woman. Her skin reflected light like liquid pearl, her hair shimmered in colors I couldn't name, and her eyes were the calmest, analytical silver. She wasn't panicking. She wasn't surprised. She was comfortable. Too comfortable. She lifted her head just enough to acknowledge me, as if I were interrupting her relaxation instead of discovering a glowing extraterrestrial casually lounging where my butt should have been. Her voice emerged in a soft, melodic pulse, but a little device clipped to her collar translated it into clunky, robotic English. Greetings, local inhabitant. I have claimed this resting unit according to intergalactic protocol. I didn't answer. I simply stared. She waited a moment, then tilted her head in a way that made her look like she was scanning me for defects. You appear compromised. Do you require medical intervention? No, I require you to get off my sofa. I finally managed, rubbing my eyes in case I was hallucinating. She sat up smoothly, posture impossibly straight. Relocation is impossible. Planetary environment unsafe for extended wandering. My vessel is undergoing remote self-repair. Estimated waiting duration, uncertain. I opened my mouth, closed it, then pointed mutely at the door like a confused child. She calmly ignored that and patted the sofa cushion beside her, mistaking the gesture for some kind of invitation signal. I backed up a step. She narrowed her glowing eyes slightly, reading my body language with scientific precision. You are exhibiting defensive hesitation. Do not fear. I am non-aggressive unless threatened with bladed weaponry. Great. Wonderful. Fantastic. You're peaceful. Can you be peacefully somewhere else? No. That single word had the finality of a courtroom verdict. I exhaled slowly, trying to think. She stared back, as unbothered as if she were discussing weather patterns. If you intend to allow my continued presence, I must inquire about expected compensation. You have to pay rent. I snapped. People don't just break into houses and take couches for free. Her translator flickered, light sputtering, before blurting out in a glitchy monotone. If I am to remain, I must initiate ritual mating contract. My soul left my body. What? No, rent. Rent. Paying money. With currency. Not, whatever that was. She blinked once, processing, then stood with unsettling grace. Understood. When shall we begin reproductive bonding? I nearly swallowed my tongue. No. That's not what. No mating. No bonding. Rent means money. But the translator glitched again, replacing every attempt at the word, rent, with mate. I could see the moment she misinterpreted my frantic gestures. Her expression softened, not emotionally, but scientifically. Like she had diagnosed a rare condition. Your stress levels indicate extreme pre-bonding anxiety. This is common among shy species. Shy? I'm not. This is a misunderstanding. She stepped closer. Not threateningly, just in that calmly invasive way only aliens or overly confident cats have. She raised her wrist device and scanned me, a soft hum passing over my skin. Your biological readings show compatibility levels at 89%. Fertility potential acceptable. Genetic diversity optimal. Oh my God, stop talking! She didn't stop. Should you require reassurance, I can provide thorough documentation of suitable bonding positions, timelines, and physiological techniques. I'm begging you to stop talking. She took my silence as encouragement. I am prepared to fulfill the full contractual obligations. Your reluctance confirms you are a modest species. I will guide. No guiding. She stopped mid-sentence, studying me again. If she had eyebrows, she would have raised them. Your vocal output is elevated. Do you reject the contract? Yes. No. I mean, it's not a contract. It's just a couch. You pay money for, oh, forget it. She stared blankly. Your speech patterns are inconsistent. Reproductive confusion detected. With a sigh that could have powered a small wind turbine, I ran my hands over my face. This was a losing battle. The translator was broken, the alien was determined, and my sofa had been stolen by a cosmic houseguest who apparently thought she owed me her body instead of rent money. She settled back onto the cushions, calm as a glacier. I will await your decision regarding initiation. Do not worry. I am patient. No initiation. No rituals. No mating. The translator chirped and interpreted all of that incorrectly again. She folded her hands neatly in her lap. Very well. I shall remain here until you overcome cultural shyness. Take your time. Take your time? Take your. I stared at her, she stared back, serene as ever. That was the moment I realized. She wasn't planning to leave. And somehow, I was now apparently engaged by alien misunderstanding to a sofa-squatting extraterrestrial who believed I was too bashful to consummate our imaginary contract. It was going to be a long night. Over the next few days, my apartment stopped feeling like my apartment and started feeling like an alien research station run by a woman who didn't understand the meaning of personal space or rent, still insisting it meant some kind of ceremonial commitment. She didn't ask permission to move in. She simply acted like she already lived there, rearranging everything with calm, clinical purpose. My fridge became a glowing experiment of reorganized molecules. My thermostat was overridden by something she called optimal bonding climate. My laundry, my private laundry, was scanned, catalogued, and color sorted based on pheromonal patterns. I asked her, politely, to stop doing that. She responded, "Your objections recorded." Proceeding anyway, and carried on as though I were giving weak suggestions in a meeting she chaired. Every morning I'd stumble out of bed, half asleep, only to find her sitting perfectly upright on the sofa, hands folded, eyes unblinking, watching me like she was waiting for a cue. "Good morning, mating partner," she'd say, because her translator absolutely refused to learn the correct meaning of rent. I'd spill coffee on myself every single time. She'd scan me with her little wrist device and announce, "Adrenaline spike detected. You are reacting positively to my presence." "I'm reacting to the coffee burning me," I'd grumble. She nodded, as if confirming some theory. "You are easily stimulated." "Interesting." I would groan and walk away. And yet, for all the embarrassment she caused me, she tried, really tried, to learn human romance in the most hilariously broken ways imaginable. One morning, she appeared wearing an apron she must have scavenged from my kitchen drawer. She held a frying pan like it was a weapon from her homeworld. "I have studied human courtship rituals," she declared. "I will now provide a nutritive offering." "Please don't," I said. But she was determined. The stove glowed red-hot, an alien energy humming through the burners because apparently she'd enhanced its output. Smoke filled the air. Something crackled. Something hissed. Something exploded. When I ran over to stop her, she held up a charred lump and said proudly, "Accept this as a symbol of my dedication." I didn't accept it. I threw it in the sink before it became sentient. She watched me with that same analytical calmness. Did I fulfill the romantic obligation? Not even close. She stared a moment longer, then nodded. "I will refine my technique." Another attempt at flirting came after she spent 3 hours researching human complement strategies, and then approached me with all the grace of a malfunctioning robot. I was scrolling through my messages when she stood just inches from my face. "Your facial area displays adequate symmetry for acceptable attraction parameters." Thanks." She nodded, satisfied. "You are also statistically likely to have functional reproductive organs." I nearly dropped my phone. "That's not how complements work. It was calculated scientifically. That's the problem." She considered this for a moment, then replied, Humans prefer illogical flattery? I choked on air. Despite all the chaos, every once in a while she did something that caught me off guard and softened the panic. She fixed my broken kitchen cabinet without telling me. One night, when I had fallen asleep accidentally on the floor, I woke up with a blanket over me, tucked in perfectly, clearly done by someone who treated the action like a ritual. She guarded the apartment at night, sitting still like a watchtower, glowing faintly while I slept. And if I muttered in my sleep, she would tilt her head and adjust the room temperature to keep me comfortable. She never mentioned these things. She didn't brag or point them out. She just did them. Quietly. And yet, whenever she tried to express affection, she defaulted back to charts, graphs, biological analysis, and awkward statements that made my face heat up like a toaster. One evening, she sat beside me, far too close, and held out a glowing data pad displaying compatibility metrics. Your endocrine responses indicate attraction. This aligns with predicted bonding timeline. I sputtered. I'm not attracted. Well, I mean, not like that. She blinked slowly, as if clearing a faulty equation. Your heart rate increases by 27% when I approach within half a meter. This suggests mating interest. That's because you appear out of nowhere. You don't blink. You hover. She leaned even closer, staring at my chest. Heart rate now increased by 45%. Confirmation achieved. I groaned into my hands, and she interpreted it as embarrassment, patting my shoulder like she was comforting a nervous patient. Do not fear. I will guide you through the bonding procedures. That's literally the opposite of comforting. Still, the truth was I was starting to notice things I shouldn't. How her glow softened when she was relaxed. How she hummed quietly, almost subconsciously, when she analyzed something. How her usually calm voice wavered, just barely, whenever she misunderstood something and waited for my reaction like she actually cared. One night, while I was trying to unwind from the day's chaos, she approached me with something new, a handwritten document. The paper was crisp, perfectly folded, with alien symbols neatly translated. I have prepared an official bonding proposal, she said with complete seriousness. Please review diagrams 1 through 12 for expected physical and emotional protocols. I stared at the pages. The diagrams. The annotations. The charts. It was the most clinical, detailed, scientifically thorough approach to romance I had ever seen. And she stood there waiting, totally calm, expecting me to evaluate her proposal like we were negotiating a business deal. My brain broke. She mistook the stunned silence for acceptance. Excellent. I will begin preparing for phase 1. No. 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 And yet, for the first time, I didn't feel panic. I felt something else. Something warm. Something dangerously close to fondness. Which was absolutely the last thing I needed. The alien woman on my sofa wasn't just misunderstanding Rent, she was slowly invading my life, my routine, and somehow, without trying, my heart. I woke up the next morning determined, absolutely determined, to fix that cursed translator. If I didn't, she was going to keep assuming we were engaged in some sort of cosmic marriage pact, and I was going to lose my sanity one awkward misunderstanding at a time. The device sat on the table like a smug little piece of alien tech purposely ruining my life. I picked it up, poked it, shook it, even tried talking to it, which in hindsight was probably the dumbest strategy. She observed me from the sofa with that calm, unreadable expression, as though watching a strange animal attempt manual labor. You are attempting to initiate physical contact, she said, voice steady as a heart monitor. No, I'm trying to fix the translator. She stood and approached slowly, like she was approaching a skittish pet. Do not rush. Bonding procedures should not be forced. I groaned and turned my back to her, fiddling with the device's glowing interface. But that apparently signaled shy affection, in her culture, because she stepped even closer until I felt her presence at my back, warm, steady, radiating soft luminescence like she was made of gentle electricity. Her voice softened. If you wish to proceed, I can assist. I don't want to proceed. I want to fix the... She placed her hand on mine. Not forcefully. Just lightly. And it froze me completely. Her touch wasn't cold or warm. It felt like a pulse of gentle energy rippling through my skin, sending shivers straight down my spine. She watched my reaction with fascination. Assessing tactile compatibility. I snatched my hand away. Stop assessing me! But she had seen my face heat up, seen my breath catch, and her lips curved just slightly, not quite a smile, but something softer than her usual perfect calm. You are reacting again, she noted, almost quietly. Because you surprised me. Surprise increases attraction in some species. Is this true for humans? No. She paused. Your heart rate suggests otherwise. I was ready to scream. But then she did something unexpected. She stepped back, just a little, and her expression shifted in a way I had never seen before, less composed, less certain. The translator flickered. For a moment, her real voice slipped through, unfiltered, softer and more vulnerable sounding than I ever imagined she could be. I do not wish to distress you. Everything in me stopped. She sounded hesitant. Actual emotion leaked through the cracks. And suddenly I wasn't annoyed anymore. I was disarmed. I rubbed my neck awkwardly. You're not distressing me. You're just misunderstanding a lot of things. She watched me with wide, silver eyes, almost searching my face. The glow around her dimmed slightly, like her emotional field reflected her mood. Then, you do not dislike my presence? I swallowed. No. I actually. She leaned forward expectantly. You accept me? I like having you here. Her eyes widened, the translator flickered again, and she straightened her posture as if bracing for something monumental. Then you consent to begin bonding. No! Not bonding! I just meant. But she was already flustered for the first time ever. Her glow brightened too much, pulses of light racing across her skin like nervous twitches. She looked away, then back at me, then away again, hands clasping and unclasping mechanically. My systems are destabilized, she murmured. Your statement affects me. She was embarrassed. Genuinely embarrassed. And that was somehow more shocking than everything else combined. To distract herself, she cleared her throat, at least, I think that's what the small humming vibration was, and gestured for me to sit beside her on the sofa. I hesitated. She noticed and misread it again. Comfort proximity is optional, she said, voice softer, but recommended for emotional stabilization. I sighed and sat. Not too close. But not far either. She immediately shifted nearer, like a magnet closing distance without asking permission. The room dimmed on its own as her body emitted a soothing glow, warm and soft. Then she did something she had never attempted. She gently rested her head against my shoulder. I froze. She didn't move away. This is appropriate, yes? It's fine, I whispered. Her energy pulsed faintly, syncing with my breathing. I find your presence soothing. My heart did a backflip. We sat there in silence, a surprisingly peaceful silence, until a small floating drone whirred out of her bag. It hovered above us and blared, in a loud metallic voice. Bonding proximity detected. Initiate reproductive questionnaire? She shot to her feet so fast the sofa creaked, grabbed the drone, and slammed it face first into the couch cushions. Dismiss. The drone shut off immediately. She turned back to me slowly, glowing with mortified bioluminescence. Her voice trembled ever so slightly. Apologies. My vessel is overly enthusiastic. I couldn't help it, a laugh burst out of me. A real, genuine laugh. She stared at me, startled by the sound, and her glow softened like melting candlelight. You enjoy being near me? She asked again, barely above a whisper. I nodded, unable to lie. Yeah. I do. She lowered herself beside me again, more careful this time, almost shy. Shy. Her. The logical, emotionless alien. She exhaled in a soft hum and gently, hesitantly placed her hand on mine again, but this time she asked, May I maintain contact? And something inside me softened in a dangerous way. Yeah, I said quietly. You can. Her glow warmed, spreading like sunrise over her skin. And for the first time since she arrived, she didn't mention charts or bonding rates or reproductive analytics. She simply stayed close. Just close. Warm, silent, and somehow, impossibly, tender. I didn't realize how much my life had changed until the night everything finally came to a boiling point, not in the chaotic, explosive way I expected, but in a quiet, slow-burning way that settled deep under my skin. I had gotten used to her presence, the soft glow she emitted when relaxed, the faint humming sound she made when thinking, the way she tilted her head when trying to interpret my emotions. Somewhere along the line, the sofa thief had become something else. Someone else. Someone I looked for when I woke up. Someone I noticed when she wasn't in the room. But she still believed we were in some kind of ritual mating contract. The translator continued to glitch stubbornly, turning every mundane word into suggestive misunderstandings. I tried to fix it again that evening, taking it apart piece by piece while she observed in that unreadable way of hers. She sat beside me, knees drawn up, chin resting on them like she'd learned the pose from watching humans do it online. Your focus is admirable, she murmured, her voice far softer than usual. I'm trying to fix this so you stop assuming we're bonded? She offered. Yes. No. Maybe. I groaned. She blinked calmly. Your indecision is intriguing. I sighed and put the tiny screws down before I lost them forever. The translator's circuits flickered weakly, like it was mocking me. Look, you misunderstood me at first. And that's not your fault. But this isn't a mating contract. It never was. She stiffened, her glow dimming. I see. No, not like that. I shifted closer, unsure if touching her shoulder would be considered too forward. Before I could decide, she looked up at me with eyes that, for the first time, showed clear uncertainty. You do not wish to share space with me? I didn't say that. Her glow steadied slightly. Then, you do accept me? I rubbed my forehead. Yes. I accept you. I like having you here. I like being around you. I like. Her breath hitched, just a tiny sound, but enough to make me freeze. She leaned in, searching my face as if scanning for truth. You are fond of me? I swallowed hard. Yeah. A lot more than I expected. Something in her posture changed. Slowly, gently, she reached out and took my hand, not clinically, not to measure my pulse or test compatibility, but because she wanted to. Her touch was warm, like a soft current humming beneath her skin. You do not know how long I have waited to hear that, she said quietly. My heart stuttered. Waited? Yes. She lowered her gaze. I observed you for many cycles before making contact. I analyzed your patterns. Your loneliness. Your habits. Your kindness. I wanted to learn you. Understand you. And then my vessel malfunctioned, and I was forced to reveal myself. You've been here because of an accident? She shook her head. No. I stayed because of choice. It hit me harder than her glowing palm. She didn't cling to the sofa because of protocol or misunderstanding. She stayed because she genuinely wanted to be near me. She just didn't know how to express it without sounding like she was drafting a research paper. The silence between us thickened, warm and heavy. Our hands stayed intertwined without either of us mentioning it. She studied my face, and for once there was no mention of graphs or fertility rates. Only quiet sincerity. Tell me something, I said softly. If your translator wasn't broken, what would you have said the first day you arrived? She hesitated, a rare thing for her, then slowly leaned her head against mine. The glow around her brightened, wrapping us in a soft cocoon of light. Her real voice, not the robotic translator, filtered through the dim room, smooth and delicate. I would have said, thank you for letting me stay. I would have asked if you were lonely. And I would have told you that you are the first human who has made me feel safe. My chest tightened. Safe? Yes. She curled closer. Your presence calms my systems. Your scent regulates my field. She paused, then added more quietly. Your nearness feels good. Heat crept up my neck. You can't just say things like that so casually. She blinked, silver eyes wide. Is that not the correct expression of affection? It's incredibly affectionate, I admitted. She absorbed that with a soft hum. Then, with careful consideration, she lifted my hand to her cheek. Her skin warmed under the contact, her glow pulsing gently. I am learning, she whispered. And I was learning too. Learning that she didn't flirt because she was trying to seduce me, she flirted because she didn't know any other language yet. She was trying, fumbling through human emotion like a scientist experimenting with unpredictable chemicals. And somewhere in that chaotic misunderstanding, she had started to care. Her voice broke the silence again, softer this time. If you do not desire ritual bonding, then what do humans call this? This? I echoed. This is just closeness. Being together. Letting things grow naturally. She considered the idea like it was a complex equation. Then she nodded. Then I will grow with you. I felt something warm unfurl in my chest. She leaned even closer, resting her forehead against mine. You will stay? I'm not going anywhere, I murmured. Her glow enveloped us fully now, casting the room in soft, shimmering light. And for the first time, there was no awkwardness, no misunderstandings, no malfunctioning translator injecting chaos. Just warmth. Silence. Connection. Finally, she whispered one more thing. Her voice trembled slightly, the most human I'd ever heard her sound. I believe I have started to love you. And somehow, impossibly, all the logic and charts and alien analysis had led her to the most human truth of all. I squeezed her hand gently, feeling her energy flutter under my touch. I think I'm falling for you too. She exhaled, a soft melodic pulse filling the room, pure happiness, pure relief. For the first time since she arrived, everything made sense. Not a ritual. Not a contract. Just love, strange, unexpected, interstellar love, growing on a sofa she had stolen, but somehow made feel like home.